If you're wondering how to build a sales pipeline in HighLevel that actually helps you follow up with leads, this is the approach I recommend. Map your sales process first. Build the pipeline second. Then, automate the predictable steps in between, because a CRM should do more than just store contact information, and a sales pipeline should do more than give you columns to drag people into. A good system should tell you where every lead is, what needs to happen next, and automate as much of that follow-up as makes sense. So, I'm going to show you the sales pipeline and automations I recently built inside HighLevel, also known as GoHighLevel. Before I built anything in HighLevel, I mapped the sales process. This is something I've learned after more than 12 years of working across marketing funnels, emails, automation, reporting, and marketing operations. Automation cannot fix a bad process. If you don't know what should happen next, automating it just helps the confusion happen faster. So I mapped the journey from new lead to discovery booked, discovery completed, qualified, proposal sent, and closed won or closed lost. Then I built HighLevel around that process. If you're new to CRMs, a sales pipeline is simply a visual way to track where someone is in your sales process. So instead of thinking, didn't somebody book a call with me last week? I can open the screen and see it. I can see my new leads. I can see who's booked the discovery call. I can see who's qualified. I can see who has a proposal. And I can see what we've won or lost. This gives me one clear place to look instead of trying to piece together what's happening from my inbox, my calendar, my notes, or my faulty memory. But visibility is only half of the system. The other half is follow-up. Let's start with a new lead. When somebody fills out my form, HighLevel creates the opportunity in the new lead stage. They receive the resource they requested, followed by 2 emails inviting them to book a discovery call. If they book, HighLevel automatically moves them from new lead into discovery book. Then, the system sends their confirmation email and appointment reminders. This is what I mean by building automation around the pipeline. The pipeline tells me where the lead is. The automation helps move them toward the next logical step, and I don't have to remember to send each message manually. Now, this is where a lot of businesses accidentally lose leads. Someone books a call. They cancel. Everybody gets busy. And nobody remembers to follow. In this system, if someone cancels, they stay in discovery book and enter a rescheduling sequence for up to 14 days. If they rebook, they return to the booked call process. If they don't rebook after 14 days, they can move back to new lead rather than sitting forever in an active sales stage. The goal is simple. Every lead should have a clear next step. You don't want valuable opportunities depending on somebody remembering to check on them. If they attend the call, they move into discovery completed. Then, something important happens. The automation stops. I wait an hour, and I manually decide whether that lead is qualified. And I did that on purpose. One of the biggest mistakes I see with business automation is trying to automate absolutely everything. You don't need to. Automation is best for predictable steps. Human judgment should stay where human judgment actually adds value. So, I decide whether the lead is qualified. If they're not, they can move to closed lost. And if they are, they move into qualified. From there, I can record what happened on the call. Maybe they verbally agreed. Maybe they need to speak with their team. Maybe they ask me to follow up on a specific date. Those are the different situations, so the system shouldn't treat every qualified lead exactly the same way. Then, when I'm ready to send the proposal, HighLevel waits until I've added the proposal link to the contact record. Once that link exists, the proposal email goes out. Only after the proposal has actually been sent does the opportunity move into proposal sent. That sounds like a tiny detail, but keeping your CRM accurate matters. If the pipeline says proposal sent, I want to know a proposal was actually sent. Once the proposal is sent, the follow-up automation takes over again. There are 3 follow-up attempts built into this process. So I'm not adding reminders to my calendar or waking up one morning thinking, wait, did that person ever reply? If the proposal gets signed and the invoice is paid, the opportunity moves to closed won and the sale follow-up stops. If they don't move forward after the follow-up sequence, they're moved to closed lost. So there isn't a giant pile of opportunities sitting in proposal sent forever because nobody knows what happened to them. And this is why I like connecting sales pipeline management with automation. The pipeline gives you visibility. The automation gives you consistency. And together, They reduce the number of sales opportunities that depend on human memory. They also make problems easier to diagnose. Lots of leads but very few calls? Look at your lead to booking process. Lots of calls but few qualified leads? Look at lead quality or qualification. Lots of proposals but few sales? Now you know exactly where the bottleneck is. Without a pipeline, all of that can just feel like sales seem slow. I use Pedro AI to help me translate my sales process into high-level automations, but the most important part happened before I touched the workflows. I decided what the process should be. That's the part I would start with in any CRM. Process first, pipeline second, automation third. Because the goal isn't to automate everything. The goal is to build a sales system you can trust, where every lead has a clear next step and fewer opportunities slip through the cracks. And if watching this made you curious about HighLevel and you want to actually get in there and play around with it yourself, I'll put a link below where you can try HighLevel for free for 30 days. You'll also get access to their live HighLevel bootcamp so you can start getting some help setting things up instead of just staring at a brand new CRM wondering where to start. And right now is a particularly good time to try it because HighLevel is running its Summer of AI through August 31. If you decide to continue with HighLevel on a paid account, tools like AI Studio, Workflow AI, Funnel AI, Email AI, and Ask AI are currently included free during that promotion. The link below is my affiliate link, so if you do decide to become a paying customer, I may earn a commission at no additional cost to you. But definitely use the free 30 days to get in there, build something, and see whether it actually makes sense for your business.